Let's welcome to the show California gubernatorial candidate, the former mayor of San Diego. Back with us is Kevin Faulconer. Okay, it's official. The recall to replace California Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom, it's on. Why are California voters so upset?
Well, it is on. It is official. And voters are very upset because this governor continues to fail, absolutely fail at the basics. And, why we saw over 2 million Californians sign that recall petition, by the way, from all parts of the state, all walks of life, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, who are extremely upset, angry, and frustrated, not just at how this governor handled the pandemic and opening and shutting businesses constantly without being based on science, but also because this governor continues to fail, as I said, at the basics. Homelessness skyrocketing in California, the fact that our state is just too expensive, and we have a governor that doesn't seem to recognize that there's a problem. That's why Californians want to change at the top when it comes to Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, and the LA DA going soft on crime, right? And Californians tell us the tipping point was when Governor Newsom told everyone to stay home under his lockdown, wear masks, but then he went out and ate at a fancy restaurant with healthcare officials not wearing a mask. And his administration is also penalizing, threatening to throw business owners in jail, and then they're seen dining out and going to wineries. So it's the hypocrisy that really is angering people. Go ahead.
Absolute hypocrisy. And Gavin Newsom, who says one thing and then always does another. When it comes to the fact that opening and shutting down businesses not based on science, when it comes to the fact that, as we're talking here this evening, our California public schools are still not fully reopened. Private schools have been open for, basically the entire year in California. Why? Because those schools report to parents, but yet our public schools that ultimately report to Gavin Newsom are still not fully reopened. And so I think when you start to add all of this up, rising crime in California, which we're just talking about in the last segment, the fact that we just got some news yesterday that this governor has been misleading Californians in terms of wildfire prevention and actually cutting our CAL FIRE budget. You start adding all of that up. That's why Californians are eager and anxious to get to the polls to make a change at the top for somebody who's actually going to roll up their sleeves and get our state back on track.
Let's talk about the wildfires and rolling blackouts, because we've been reporting on how the Democrat Party in Sacramento gets a lot of donations from the electric and power industry. Okay, so why is California finally agreeing to former President Donald Trump's plan? He said clean out the debris, clean out the underbrush in the state's 33 million acres of forest with controlled burns to stop the wildfires. But when he said that, the President Biden and Democrats said he was a climate arsonist. Listen, these wildfires have killed people. They've destroyed homes and businesses, triggered rolling blackouts. How can you be so incompetent and not do what Trump said to do years ago?
Well, that's exactly right in terms of when you ignore forest management, common sense, that's so incredibly important in a state like California. We suffer the consequences. There are lives at stake here, and that's why Californians are so angry, where this governor came out and took a lot of credit for a lot of things that he didn't even do and actually cut money from our CAL FIRE budget. And these, the consequences on this are absolutely deadly. And so we need a governor that's going to protect our lives and livelihoods, not what we're getting from Gavin Newsom.
Cut it out with the politicking and just do the kitchen table common sense stuff. I mean, state Democrats for 2 to 3 decades refused to clean out the forests and remove the underbrush. And then wildfires, of course, raged out of control. The Santa Ana winds can exceed 60 miles an hour. What's with the lack of common sense? There's a shortage of that.
It's in very short supply out here in California at the Capitol. And that's why this campaign that we've been talking about, one-party rule in California, has been failing our state. It's time to have a governor that can actually roll up their sleeves and get the job done. And look, I was known when I was mayor of San Diego of actually tackling these tough issues, right? We did, the only big city in California where we reduced homelessness. I stood up when I had hundreds of protesters out in front of my house. We didn't defund the police. We increased the budget. That's what we need in Sacramento.
Gotcha. Kevin Faulconer, let's see if you could take on Sacramento, that's a whole other world. Okay, it's good to see you. Come back soon. Coming up, Senator Marsha Blackburn on this bombshell. A scientist says he found genetic data